Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Tuesday, September the 26th, 2023. I've made a little bit of revision. I'm going to start here on the S&P. I'm going to start on the 4-hour chart. I am still in the process of counting the initial first 5 waves down of an intermediate degree first wave. And within that, I have minor waves 1 and 2 complete, and we're in that minor third wave down. And within it, I had marked yesterday that this level likely completed the minute third wave with that minute fourth wave in gear. But it failed, and it started to drift lower, and then it started to get hit harder during our session. So I backed up, took a second look, and thought, the minute 3 is not over, because an evidence was that it should have at least gotten up to here, maybe higher. And now that has not taken place. So a little bit of a revision. The minuet third was where I had placed the minute third, and then the minuet 4 was where I had placed the minute 4. So just shifting up degree, bringing it down, and then this minuet fifth wave may be complete. And so let's just take a quick look. If I bring it back down to the hourly chart, open that up just a little bit, we can kind of see that we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, with a little bit of a 4 coming in. Either way, it does look like we maybe need one more little pop. Not going to get to really great levels here before we would to drop down and put in an additional low, or today's low at 43.03 or 43.05 completed that minuet fifth wave, and then in turn the minute third wave. So if that were the case, and I were to, and I'm just going to put it up there and just show if. So what we'd be looking for is indeed we've got putting a minute 3 here, then we still are going to be looking for, gotta put it in the right set. We'd still be looking for a fairly strong move back up to 44.05-ish. Yep, we got a lot of moving averages in the way. And thus far, the selling, each time you're thinking, well, we could catch a bid, the selling picks up and really just kind of drives the markets lower, and it continues to drop through. Now, that kind of tells me we're still within this minute third wave, and it again is extending. So, two things. We could be going back up in a much smaller 4. Let me move that back out of the way. And we have one more drop. And that drop brings this minuet fifth wave into line here. Instead of finding its support just below the 0.618, which again is not first choice, it's going to be second choice. So the second most popular is 0.618. Actually, the third most popular is 0.618. The second most popular is 1.618. The first most popular is equality, and that's all the way down here at 42.66. So we could get another day or two, possibly. We are going into the end of the quarter. The end of September, into the second quarter, we enter into the third quarter. So this whole week, we got a lot of shifting going on in positions. Asset managers, portfolio managers. What do they want? What do they don't want? What are they going to move into? What are they moving out of? And we see a lot of that. And so that may continue. Now, a lot of that window dressing is usually to the upside, but right now, because there's been a whole shift in market attitude, a whole shift in expectations, I'm going to say. So, and again, within the wave frame, the Elliott wave framework that we're working on, very well could be that we just end up selling and don't really start to pull out until, again, the start of next week, at the beginning of the third quarter. So again, usually within that first week is where it's a new month. We get a lot of additional capital being moved in via 401ks and IRAs at the start of the month, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of positioning could be coming off the boards via the options expiration that's going to be on Friday. So it's kind of a quarterly. And again, not that it makes any difference, because the last several quarters, actually all the two other option quarterly expirations we've had, Morgan Stanley has come in and they've made their switch in their hedge for their hedge fund without anybody really taking any notice. So that's also now what we do. Well, they'll be moving it from September and putting it out to December. And so that'll be done. And we won't even know it's been done. Suddenly it'll just show up. In any case, I'm going to leave open this possibility that we still have additional downside. Now, Elliott wise, if minute wave 3 were to end here, it would be longer than minute wave 1. And in turn, we're not fighting an uphill battle in terms of, because now what we're really looking at, we're finishing the minor 3, 4, and a 5. That's going to finish the minor third. So I start to look at this in comparison to this. And so this actually is 225 points, 285 points. And we already have, exceeded that down to here, because we had the minor third being equal to the minor wave 1 right there exactly at 43.13, and we got below it. So we're not that much further along, but it is not the shortest wave. Wave 1 would be the shortest wave, should wave 5 be longer than 294. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that we still have some additional, that it really will come in and put in a decent number. And so I'm going to go with the 100% retracement for the minuet wave 5. And that brings us down to 42.66. Now, again, if we just get hit like we have, as positions continue to get evaluated and adjustments being made and what's in, what's out for the third quarter. So again, we're seeing a lot of rotations now coming into play and a little bit stronger. So I am going to look for that. I'm going to keep this 5 down here, and then underneath it would be that minute 3. And from that level, we're going to be looking for a much stronger. Again, I'm going to take this off because this is going on the basis that that is where this ends. Right now, look at the support levels that we have to see what we got coming up. And so from here, if we have a little bit of a 4, well, inside this whole move, bring it back down to the 1-hour chart so we can take another look. Well, if this is like 1, 2, 3, we get a little 4, maybe back to 43.26, maybe even back to 43.41. Don't want to go too far above that. We'd start to threaten the wave 1 of this minuet 5th wave down. And so not really looking to do that. But so I'm going to put it at 43.57. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the third. We get a little 4, we get a 5. So again, not looking for a whole lot. Ultimately could get down to there. But 4,300, 4293-ish, all in there continues to work. Put in that low and then begin that stronger minute 4th wave. Then we get a minute 5th wave coming down. And then we're moving into minor 3 being complete. We're into a minor 4. So sorry for jumping the gun a little bit there. But after today, I'm going to revise that, put the 3 and the 4. So I'm looking for that 5th to complete the minute 3rd. Then we get a minute wave 4 and then a minute 5th wave, instead of that minute 5th wave being in progress now. That's the big change. So we still have more downside and then some. Okay. Again, over in, I wanted to take a look at this daily. And this is the one. Now, we did get it, but it took a while for this thing to kick in. And then it really didn't kick in strongly because it already was strong coming into it. So we had the daily 200 at 43.30. It broke, went down a little bit, huddled back above it, and then dropped, and then dropped, and then dropped a little bit stronger, getting down to 43.05, which is not really that acceleration that I would be looking for. I think why would be because the market is getting a little bit oversold. So they kind of slowed it down. But I think we could pick that up tomorrow. And now that we got the close below that 200, and the low was on the SMA. The low was on the SMA at 43.07. We got down 43.05, and that one they bounced stuff off of. So I guess kind of like what algorithms are now going to be looking for is that break. If we get a decent enough break, and even if it happens overnight, that should have that follow through coming into our opening. Then we'll get that additional drive lower and maybe get it down to 42.66, 42.70, and plus or minus here. At this particular point, I really wouldn't be looking for 41.94. Again, tomorrow, let me just take a double, closed my, I want to take a look at what if we got any figures coming up, but I'll do that in a minute. Anyway, there we are. So I'm going to look for a little bit more, put the minute 3, still get the minute 4, which should be a little bit bigger. And that might be the one. I mean, there's a lot of talk about where, you know, if we get a little bit of position adjusting, window dressing for end of quarter, well, that would be a move back to probably 4,400. So again, everything remains in play for right now. Again, resistance 43.30 to 43.38 on the way back up. So we'll see. All right, over in the NASDAQ, it's pretty much in line as well. But here, this is one of the reasons why I kind of changed it around. Coming into 3, the 4, and this is just going to be the finishing salvo of minute 3. Because I'm looking at this as minor. So we're going to be finishing up minor. If we had minute 3 and 4, and we're in minute 5, it would have to really come down quite a bit. I'd be looking for it to come way down below 14,400. And that kind of got tossed up in the air because we'd have to be doing it. We'd have still. And the minute 4, it's like it just didn't fit anymore. I really looked at it and I thought, you know, this is just not fitting very well. So coming here onto the hourly chart, this was always a little bit problematic, but it does count as 5. So I got this as the 3, the third of the minuet 3. And then we get the 4 and the 5, and that puts in minuet 3, minuet 4, and now we're in minuet 5 to complete minute 3. Same deal, 1, 1, 2 maybe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. So I'm still thinking that this is going to be 1, 2, 3. We get a little 4, and we start to come down. We break cleanly below 14,660, and we actually start heading. We could get as low as 14,480. But I'll take anything down into here, and that'll finish up that minute 3rd. We get a minute 4, and then we still have a minute 5th before we finish this minor 3rd. And the difference is that in the NASDAQ, minor wave 1, I'm going to bring it back out here. Minor wave 1 was 1,453 points, right? 16,251 minus 14,399, excuse me, 14,798. Oh, that's 1,453. And right now, minor third, if we were to take it into 3 and 4, and we're working on that fifth, that would have to come down. The fifth wave would have to just crush it and get us way below 14,400 for the NASDAQ. I thought, okay, yeah, it could. But again, putting the 3 and the 4 versus the 3 and the 4, I didn't like it. I kept it there for most of the day. I didn't like it. So I moved it. And now putting in our fibs for minuet wave 5, we're buffeting up against that 0.618. We got down that far today with the low being on 14,666. So this was 6 points away from hitting that target. But then the first is equality, and that's 14,479 or 14,480. And that would put a nice complete ribbon around that minute third. We get a minute 5, put that minute fifth in, and then that brings us down below this level and closer probably into through some of this. Because here, minute 3 would be 2.618, and then we get a 4, and then we're going to revise all of these, and then we'll be matching up this minute 1 to that top of minute 4, and that'll bring us in, and we'll see where this all ends up. So again, these still remain valid, but right now I'm looking for it to get below there so I can clean up that minor third. That minor third wave has just been glorious all the way, and I would hate to see, I'm not going to be too quick, because we need more, and the market's giving it actually. So let's be a little bit more patient in terms of putting the counts on. So let me drop back to that hourly chart. And so we get inside of minute wave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're into the 5, hopefully bringing us down into here. We can then put in a minute 3, get a minute 4, and then we still have a minute wave 5, and that's the one I'm looking to bring us down below 14,400. And that'll put in that low for that minor third, and we should be all set. Get a little bit below, and then the third wave would be longer than the first, which was 1453. And I really would like to see that before we start pushing into that larger minor fourth wave. Okay, so quick look at that daily moving average. Still up in line. We actually have the daily 200 sitting down here waiting for a visit from the market, and that's at 14,260. Could this third wave and the minor third wave take us down to there? Absolutely could. Absolutely could. Even as low as the daily 200 period SMA, which is at 13,009. Let me see exactly, 13,934. So all of this can come in within that minor third wave, and that just sets us up nice and cleanly. And one thing I kind of want to add here while I've got everybody is that I got a lot of discussion on what I was considering would have to be an alternate count. And primarily it ends up being in here that I can take it back down to the daily, and we'll just take a look at that again. We had an ABC. It still can be an ABC, but it's just not complete. And so people are saying, well, what alternate, what is it? An ABC of what? And it's like, this is not even my alternate. I was mentioning that I saw it on someone else's chart from, excuse me, from one of the major brokerage houses. And so I have no idea, because I didn't agree with it. So if anything, it has to continue to flow into that minor fourth wave. We have to back it all the way up to here, take those off, put the minor 3 here, put a minor 4 here, and that in my life just does not fit. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but it just does not fit. So that, to clear that up, I'm not working an alternate count that would include that. I am working a count pretty much that is continuing to suggest that we have downside to complete. And I still am of the belief that the primary B wave is done and we're in a primary C wave. And if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen within the smaller waves here, as what I just did. Flipping those down as kind of that would be an alternate. But it doesn't affect the larger counts, those remaining in place. All right, so I am going to finish it up there. Now I wanted to do a quick take a look at one. So I need to put up one thing here and go in and pull up. So I get a bunch of junk that reads it. I just need to go over to my economic stuff. Tomorrow on Wednesday, we have durable goods, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, durable goods. So that could push. That could give us a little push in one direction or the other. So that's going to be it for today. Our next update will be on Wednesday, September the 27th.